Greetings, fellow test subjects. Test subject 1337 here for Aperture Gaming. They make it, we test it, you play it. And welcome to our review of Ace Combat 7, Skies Unknown. The latest in the Ace Combat series. I've been a huge fan of this series for many years. In fact, it all started way back in 2004 with Ace Combat 04, Shattered Skies. Now, when I pre-ordered this game, I did it through GameStop, and I got some pretty cool stuff, both physical and digital. One of the physical things I got was my wings. I'm now an ace pilot, unofficially, but pretty cool, huh? And then digitally wise, I got to download two things. First, I got 4 skins and a plane unlock that I could use in-game, which is pretty awesome. And secondly, one of the other things I was able to digitally download, a remastered, for the PS4 edition, Ace Combat 05, The Unsung War. So this is pretty cool. I started with the 4th one, got to get the 5th one, and we're all the way up to the 7th one. So, it's a new year, and I want to try to do some new method of reviewing. Change the show up a little bit, so I'm going to try it for this program. I hope you guys like it. Besides, I want to get this right before a potentially huge review within the next week or so. So without further ado, let's get on with the review. Series. As I have said, this game is Ace Combat from the Ace Combat series. It started all the way back in the year 1993, so this series is roughly 26 years old. That's pretty impressive. It's been around for so long. It started on the PS1, they've had several PS2 titles, they had their work branched out to the PS3, the Xbox platform, the PS4, and there was even some handheld titles. So yeah, the Ace Combat series has been everywhere. Team. The team behind Ace Combat is, as you can see, Namco, which is now Bandai Namco. So they've worked on, they've been working on this, but it's been known as Project Aces. These are the people behind the Ace Combat series. And the cool thing is, Project Aces even worked on a game called Skycrawlers: Innocent Aces. It's a video game based on a 2008 anime film, adapted from a book. So it's pretty cool. I mean, so Ace Combat has branched into so many different areas, including even an air combat game based on an animated film based on a story. So that's pretty cool. They're everywhere. They're involved in a lot of stuff. But enough about that game and that movie. Let's talk about this game. Plot. The plot of the game is, well, war has broken out in the fictitious place that Ace Combat always takes place. It takes place on an alternate Earth. Now there's been maybe a couple of games where the events take place on the real world Earth that we live in. But no, this series has always taken place on the fake Earth. The first combat mission you play will be May 15th of 2019. 20 years after the events of... Here's the interesting thing. They've made this game based on the premise of what happened if the events of 04, some stuff changed 20 years prior to this. So we are now playing an alternate timeline where everything that happened from 04 and afterwards is different. Not completely different, like maybe 80-90% different. But this is what I love about Ace Combat. They do a very interesting job of storytelling. Like visually and audio and visual wise, they do great. Like during the cutscenes. And here's it, you never hear from you, the pilot. You always hear from second or third hand accounts, like someone who saw you do your actions, your co-pilot, civilians, soldiers. It's always interesting to see them tell the story through their perspective. It's a great story building thing. I kind of like that. So it's pretty cool how the game that first introduced me to this series, I see so much stuff. There's so much stuff in this game that is referenced from Ace Combat 4 and some other parts of the Ace Combat folklore and history. So yeah, it's an alternate history where instead of this side winning, the other side won, this side lost, and now things have gotten very interesting. But of course, war has broken out again. And as a pilot, it's your job to, well, you know, fly the plane, shoot this, shoot that, shoot the other thing. They've added some new stuff, like you can have flares now to have missiles get off your tail. And if you're in a cloud area, you can ice up and that'll affect your plane's performance. So I kind of like how the things change and advance and progress throughout the series, especially with new technology and whatnot. For all the past Ace Combat games, I've always played in first-person mode. Like they have three modes. First person, like in front of the plane, where you have your aiming iris. Cockpit mode, where it's like you're actually inside the plane and looking around, and then third person mode. For this game, I was in third person mode, and I've kind of gotten used to it. I think I could switch around. It's interesting, but yeah. So they've had that for like other previous installations of the Ace Combat series. So find out what works best for you. First, cockpit or third person view. After each mission, you can always watch a replay of how you did, and then during the briefing, the post briefing, it always tells you your score and shows you your targets and how you flew around. Graphics. The graphics in this game, the visuals are amazing. I've loved the Ace Combat series because you always have to pick your plane and then you fly around, and like the landscape is beautiful, and then you have to, and so is the skybox, but if you're slowing down too much to look around that, then you're probably going to get shot down. So that's why they're kind of hoping that you're flying by really fast, so they can, there's some stuff that can be ignored. But yeah, all the planes look incredibly amazing. Now, I am no expert in avionics or planes, but I think the team that worked on this were paid very careful attention to detail for all the stuff, because obviously they want to make sure this stuff looks good. And at the beginning credits, they say all these plane designs are registered to their respective owners, so that's pretty awesome. Audio. The game sounds amazing. With all the Ace Combat games, you have the sounds of the jet engines, the sounds of the bullets and the missiles flying through the air, the explosions, and then of course you have the communication between your commanding officer and all your fellow fighters and the enemy forces. Some of it you can read on the top of the screen, and some of it you're trying to catch while you're hearing, but mostly you're just trying to avoid the incoming missile command. So, so audio-wise, it's also really good. Multiplayer. This game, like multiple games before it, features multiplayer combat. Now, here's the interesting thing. There was an online multiplayer version of this game called Ace Combat Infinity. Or Infinite, yeah. It lasted for 4 years, so the fact that it had Infinity in the title and is now no longer playable, irony. Anyway, so yeah, this game has a multiplayer function. You have to have a, since I have the PlayStation version, I have to have a PS Plus membership to be able to play it. So yeah, it does. So if you're done just having to deal with the computer AI, you can go up against other people. DLC. As I stated at the start of this review, I downloaded the skins, and so there is DLC for this game. Another interesting thing is, when I got the game, I saw there's something called a Season Pass. Like many other games, it has a Season Pass, so that means there's going to be future content. What does this mean? Do we get more airplanes? Do we get more skins? Do we get like special campaign missions that take place before, during, or after the events of the story? Will there be more previous games? Will we have, seeing as how the timeline has changed drastically, will we see other areas and locations based on other parts of the Ace Combat storyline? Who knows, but yeah, the game does have DLC, and we're going to get some more in the future. Issues. While I love the Ace Combat series, there are a couple of issues. Alright, so for this game, I have some very small nitpicks. Well, one of the things was when I was setting up the game, it said, how do you want to control the game? Do you want to fly your plane? Do you want to just turn left and right on the control stick? Or do you want to go with the classic style where you have to rotate your plane and then pull up or down on the control stick to turn it? So while it's not really an issue, I mean, this is the game series I grew up with. So I took on the classic control scheme. Now there are some levels where the difficulty is normal or average, and then there's some stuff where it's like, are you kidding me? I have to do this, that, and the other thing, so there is a weird difficulty curve, and then there's some stuff where it's like, wait, if this was going to happen, why'd you have me jump through all these hoops anyway? Because, story progress and whatnot. One issue that I really have a problem with is, you can go to your hangar, you can select your airplane, you can select the skin color you want, and then what emblem you have and your nickname, but that only applies for multiplayer. You can't do that in the main game. You have to stick with the plane that you get. Because in past games, if you did a good enough job, you could spend points to unlock other skin patterns to be used in the main game. So that's my major issue right there. It's the little nitpick. Buy, rent, or pass. So the question is, do you buy this game, do you rent this game, or do you pass on this game? Well, here's what. they've been doing this for 26 years, and they don't like have it either come out year after year after year, like with that one stretch of the Assassin's Creed series. And they also don't like have... Now, they do have some stretches of periods between each Ace Combat game, but given how the game is pretty similar in each incarnation, I think that kind of works for it. But for me personally, I recommend buying this game. I also recommend buying the previous games if you're a huge fan of flight sims and air combat. It's really fun and I thoroughly enjoy it. Overall score. For me, alright, so we here at Aperture Labs are proud to give Ace Combat 7 Skies Unknown. Even though it's a 7, we're going to give it 2.5 more points and have the total score a 9.5 out of 10. Aside from the weird nitpicks like the controller setup, the weird thing is that now there's some games where, like, if the difficulty is too hard for you, like let's say you pick hard, you can then go down to medium or easy. You can't do that. You can't change it once you're in story. You have to play through the entire campaign on that setting. So I'm on the fence with that. I think it's kind of a good thing because it makes you commit to it, and kind of a bad thing like if you're having real trouble, then otherwise you'd have to start the campaign all over again. But yeah, it deserved its 9.5 out of 10. It's a very fun game, and I've loved this series so far. I love the way they tell the stories. I just love the plot twists, the changes. Graphic-wise, everything looks great. Sound-wise, love it. Like, you try to hear some story aspects, but you're too busy trying to make sure you're not get shot, so even though you can't hear that, I just love how they put in the time and the effort to try to make sure that there is a story for those who are really intent on trying to find it. It's a really good series. As I said, buy the series, it's really great. Well, that's all the time we have for this episode. Thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed our new, the new way we're trying to review things around here. It's new, so hopefully I'll start to get used to it and everyone else get used to it. And that's all the time. So thank you very much. Until next time, this has been Test Subject 1337 for Aperture Gaming saying thank you for watching, and as always, game on.